You're watching Soulful Discussions.
All right, so hi and hello.
Hi,
All right, so first of all, how do you and I know each other?
you're my boyfriend.
Okay, absolutely. And so we're here today as to say,
Thank you for the people who donated.
absolutely. So we definitely do appreciate you guys who did donate. Um, I kind of want to get started with like how you and I met, like how that story went.
Okay, we both met online. We met on a website that costs a little bit more money to use versus like Tinder or like Hinge or Bumble. I think we were both just like looking for something more serious.
Yes.
And typically, when people pay more for a service, they tend to take it more seriously. So we met on there. Here comes a puppy. We met on there, and you were like the first person I talked to, like on there. Like I'd gotten some likes and matches, but I saw you had looked at my profile, but you didn't message me or anything. So I went on and like liked your profile, and then you sent me a message, and we kind of like almost immediately just started talking.
Absolutely. And so, real quick, so for everybody knows, what was the reason that I kind of wanted to talk to you? Like I sent you a message, and what was that message?
Well, on my profile it said I was introverted. I'm kind of shy. And so you messaged me and said, well, how introverted are you? Right? Or
Yeah,
something along those lines. And then I replied back sarcastically, I didn't know that there were levels to being an introvert.
absolutely.
And then you were hooked because you knew I had attitude.
Well, and for me, like sarcasm, like, cause I can be sarcastic at times, and so like to have somebody who I know kind of like knows and understands that was like really cool for me. I mean, so thought that was definitely dope. So we've been dating now for how long?
Um, like a little over 3 years, known each other for almost 4, but been dating for like officially like 3.25.
Yeah. And so let me ask you this: one of the first things that you asked me about, right, in terms of like sexually, right, was what?
Oh, I don't remember.
You guys remember? She has a bad memory sometimes. You asked me, what are you into?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then I replied back, and I was like, oh well, I like feet or whatever like that, right?
Yes.
And what was your reply?
Oh, like maybe some inquisitive questions, but just kind of like, okay, like that's cool.
And I think you said like there's worse things that you could be into, right?
Oh,
Something
yeah.
along those
Oh,
lines,
for
right?
sure. Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about, because I think when I got with you, you had like a negative, or I would say it wasn't as positive of a relationship. Like when it came to your feet, like you were more like, so you had some experiences where you're like people made fun of you. Well, first of all, what was it like growing up? Because you were a lot taller than some of the girls that were growing up. What was it like?
So my biological father is 6'8",
Mm-hmm.
and then my mom's side of the family is also quite tall. So I come from an Amazon family. So by the time I was in 3rd grade, I was wearing size 6 women's shoes. Um, so I didn't get to wear any like fun, like light up shoes, or like I really wanted Little Mermaid light up shoes or like jelly sandals that like everybody else in my class was wearing, but I couldn't wear those because I grew fast when I was young. And so by the time I was like 13, I was wearing a size 12 women's shoes, and I kind of stopped growing once I hit 13.
Absolutely.
So pretty much from 13 till now, I've been wearing size 12, and it was more so just like my family teasing me, not like any friends or anything, but just my family, because size 12 shoes really hard to shop for. Like I can't go to Target and buy shoes, or Walmart, or any like basic clothing store. I have to either order online or go to more special
Yeah.
sized or like unisex size stores
Correct.
to get shoes. So I just been teased by my family about my feet, so I was definitely very
Yeah.
self-conscious,
Very self conscious.
and like didn't want to wear anything that I thought like made my feet look even bigger,
Yeah.
without like taking into consideration that they match like my proportions.
Mm-hmm.
But it like sucks to not be able to like wear like the same kind of cute shoes that like all the other girls are wearing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, because I like wanted to buy you some shoes for like your birthday or something. That's like before we had even met.
Yeah.
And I think I asked for like your shoe size, and you immediately were like,
No.
"Why? Like why?" Like, and it was like you were like really like on guard, like, "Well, why? Why do you want to know?" And it took a lot to get that out of you, that information out of you.
Yeah.
But you finally gave it to me, and so let me ask you this: in terms of like your relationship with me so far, and being with me, could you say that you have more of a positive relationship with your feet now that like, because I'm kind of more appreciative of that, right?
Well, you buy like 99% of all my shoes now.
Correct.
And then you always like pretty much since we've been dating, you've always taken me to get pedicures and stuff. Or like you'll massage my feet at night. Or clean them. Because I like to walk outside barefoot, which he hates. So I get my feet wiped down quite often. So I think just like from the care that you provide, it's made me like more comfortable and like you're dating me. So if you like my feet, then I don't have a reason to be self-conscious over them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you say it would be the best approach like to a guy who is like in the same situation that I was in originally with you? Like, you're going to start dating somebody. Because I get a lot of questions from people like, they've had situations in the past where they told a girlfriend or somebody they were dating for a long time that like, hey, they like feet, and then it didn't go well. Do you think it should be something I said earlier, and like, how early should that be?
Well, I think there's a difference between appreciation and a fetish.
Yeah.
Appreciation could be like, I know some people like when girls like smell good, or vice versa, girls like when guys smell good, or just like how they present themselves, which can be like an appreciation thing, like something that you enjoy, but you might not necessarily have like a sexual fantasy behind. And then I think fetish leads more into having like the sexual fantasy. And I think both are totally fine and completely normal.
Yeah.
I would say probably every human being has a fetish of some
100%.
sort, regardless if they're aware of it or not. So I think being open with that communication, but also like you would have to understand if that person is not into that fetish per se, leading into it a little bit more slowly might be more beneficial, especially if that person seems to be wary.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where you and I had like a good line of communication, because I definitely started with like appreciation,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like we like, not that I didn't have any apprehension towards it at all, but it still started with like you buying me shoes or cute fuzzy socks, because I really like socks. So I think the
Maybe
way
you guys will get a chance to see some of the sock collection. Yeah,
I have a lot of
She
socks,
has
yeah.
a lot of socks.
But I think the way that you like led into it really made me more comfortable. And I think I think it's up, like, you have to be willing to listen to the woman and take it at her pace. So if she voices that she's uncomfortable or she doesn't like it, then you need to take a step back, because it's probably not going to jump into something sexual right away if
100%.
your counterpart is not feeling open to it. So then it needs to be like, okay, we're not going to push that, but how can I show appreciation and lead into that direction, which might take a lot of time. So willing to
Each
have,
situation is different.
yeah, willing to have an open line of communication, willing to be patient and considerate to your partner, and finding what they're comfortable with too. And it's two to tango. So
Absolutely. And I think one of the things early on, I was never like a boob or a butt guy, and you like clearly changed me into like being more. Because like I've always said, like I appreciate a woman as a whole, but feet was always something that I gravitated towards, because I would notice like, to me, polished, like looking nice, or when they dress it up with jewelry, something like that. That's nice to me, right? So I was like, but then like dating you, like I've really gotten more into like, I guess, appreciating
the whole
that
physique,
part.
yeah.
Correct. What is something, because like I've started the channel 2 years ago. I think it's going on 3 years, and like you were kind of part of the reason why I started the channel. Some of the questions came from you. What are your thoughts about the channel, where you saw it start at, and like where it's at now, and where it possibly could go?
Yeah, I think your quality has definitely improved a lot and you're really open to hearing questions. And I think, especially when you have a channel that's centered around interviewing women, it needs to be ran essentially by women, meaning the women that you interview really lead the situation and talk what they feel comfortable about. And it's more, I think, about women empowerment, but also broadening people's perspective
Correct.
about appreciation or about a fetish, because it doesn't just have to be a foot fetish. It could be lots of different fetishes. And as long as it's not hurting you or hurting anybody else, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But it is a channel filled with like women. So it's making sure that they are comfortable. And I think you do a really great job being approachable. I know sometimes like you're a big guy, so
Oh
it
yeah,
can be really intimidating to just
100%.
have some, because I'm also super introverted. So like if somebody was just gonna walk up to me, like I would be probably like
On guard,
standoffish,
yeah.
just because getting approached by a man can be really intimidating as a woman in like today's society. So I think you've done a really good job, and a lot of the women that you've interviewed have chosen to create a relationship with you where they continually come back to the channel because I think you are very respectful and you make sure to make them comfortable, but have like a good repertoire between them and yourself. So I think one, your quality is better. I think you obviously are more comfortable approaching, you're more comfortable hearing the words no.
No.
Being in public, it's
Yeah.
very intimidating being in
Very
public.
intimidating.
Yeah, so I think you've done really well, and I definitely feel like sometimes you might listen a little bit better now too after hearing so many people's stories.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is that sometimes I just want your attention to myself, so I don't
Correct.
want to share you with anybody else.
Absolutely, and that's something I've tried to improve on a lot.
Yes.
And I think that we've gotten better at that. Okay, so let's get into this portion of the interview now. Would you mind if we saw what your feet look like right
Yes. Sure.
now? Okay, cool. Maybe put them down flat. Okay, and as you said to us before, you wear a size
12.
size 12. Okay, does it vary sometimes depending on different shoes you wear?
Of course, I think it's just like clothes.
Okay,
So, like, I probably varies more for women than it does men, I feel like.
100%.
But I could be one size in one brand and then go to another company and be a completely different size. So it's
Yeah.
exactly the same with shoes. I don't have a big arch in my foot either. So that's something that I have to be conscious of as well.
Got it. Got it. And so you have a couple tattoos.
I do.
Okay.
They're not very good. Don't judge
Yeah,
me.
don't judge her on the tattoo. So she does have one that says love, and you've been telling me you want to get that one covered
Yes,
up.
I want to get it covered. I was 18 and
Yeah.
I feel like the tattoo artist did not tell me that feet tattoos take a lot of love and care and need to be moisturized and just a lot of attention. And they were both like my first two tattoos, and they both aren't very good quality. So I definitely want to get one covered. And
You want to get this one.
yeah,
And
this
so
one
this is
says
the
"Let
yellow
It
one.
Be."
Let it
So
be.
I like the Beatles, and I have a lot of anxiety. So it's just a good thing for me to remember.
That message, yeah.
So I want to get it fixed,
Okay.
but keep the message on there. So yeah,
Okay.
they're not the best tattoos, but hopefully I'll get better ones
And
soon.
so, and before I met you, like, cause here's another story. Like, you never wore like foot jewelry or anything
I
like
never
that.
wore foot jewelry.
Because you weren't really like, you didn't really think about your feet in that way or anything like that.
Um, I mean, my mom always had toe rings,
Toe
so
rings
I
and stuff,
did
yeah.
kind of think about that. But again, like I have large feet, so I just assumed that they didn't make toe rings that like
Yeah.
fit my toes. But apparently they do, because both of my toe rings you purchased for
And
me.
it's interesting because I remember taking you. We were, I think it was this your birthday? I think it was your birthday. And we were down there in Newport,
Newport,
and I
yeah.
took you to like this little jewelry shop.
Yeah.
And the whole time you were uncomfortable because you're like, there's all these skinny girls coming in, and the lady who's here.
I just knew
it
nothing
just-
there was going to fit me, which
yeah,
it didn't.
It didn't. Yeah, she had like specific sizes and stuff like that. So, all right, cool. Let me have you put your feet out straight. If you can't, scoot back just a little bit. All right, cool. And so yeah, you like you said, size 12. Now, in terms of toe alignment, like your toes go from
My middle toe is the longest.
is the longest. And I talked to you kind of about what like toe alignments are and stuff like that. You remember what that one's called?
I don't. I remember the photos of seeing them all. I just don't remember the names.
Greek. That one's Greek. Absolutely. And it's interesting because your dad is from
Switzerland.
I thought it was no, I don't think it's
Swedish.
Switzerland.
Sweden. Thank you. Sorry.
Sweden, yeah. And most of your mom's side of the family is from
Spain and Puerto Rico.
So that Spain portion could be why you got the Greek in there. Like it's kind of like those areas are kind of close together. So who knows?
I have no idea.
We don't know.
I'm
Absolutely.
literally a mutt child.
Absolutely. So this is also a portion that we always talk about when we get to this portion. Being sensitive. Okay. How sensitive are you? She went and hit her.
Oh, I just was not comfortable. I'm like feet sensitivity or emotionally, because I'm very sensitive emotionally.
We're talking about your foot sensitivity.
I'm very ticklish.
Okay.
All over.
1 out of 10, where are you?
Oh, definitely probably like a 10. But I'm ticklish everywhere too. It's not just specific to feet. I'm just very ticklish.
Okay. Do you mind if we test it?
No, sure.
Because we need to see like what this looks like. Okay. You said you're a little uncomfortable. Is it because we're like kind of on a hill?
You were slanted a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like leaning this way a little bit.
Okay.
It's not bad though.
Okay, cool. All right. So we're gonna go right to left. You kind of know my trick already, but I don't want you to use it. Don't use any tricks right now. Okay. We're just going through and we're gonna test it. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know why I'm so nervous right now. Okay.
How sensitive is that?
It's really sensitive.
Okay. Try to hold it in there for 5 seconds if you can. Okay. Here we go. Let's try your left.
You want me to not move for 5 seconds?
I want you to try not to.
Okay, I cannot move for 5 seconds.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. All right, and so how bad does it get after 5 seconds? Since you're like, I can hold it for 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Does it take a lot for you to like?
At first, so like the more you do it, the less sensitive it gets over time.
Okay.
But at the beginning, it's definitely like.
Yeah.
Very sensitive, but obviously when I'm expecting it, it's different.
Correct.
Versus when you just attack me out of nowhere.
Absolutely. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Wiggle your toes while I'm doing it. I want you to
while you're doing it? Okay.
Wiggle?
Yeah.
More or less?
Less.
How much did it go down?
Like 50% probably.
50%. Let's try your left. All right. How much is that going to go down?
Yeah, the same. It's because it feels almost more like you're scratching my foot than tickling.
But do you know why it goes down?
I don't.
Yeah, because it's like a reversal of energy. So I'm applying energy, but you're also applying energy by moving your toes. So like it's like just that.
Well, now that's good to know. I'll wiggle my toes when you're trying to tickle me.
Just hold your toes in place though, so that probably won't work.
Rude.
But anyway, let's wrap up the interview. We're gonna shoot a little bit more, but we'll wrap up this portion. What were your thoughts about coming out and doing this? I know that this can be a little bit hard, right? Sitting on that side or whatever like that, and then you're a little bit shy.
Yes.
But first of all, what are your thoughts about it?
I just was really shy coming out. It's more so like, luckily we're sitting in like a pretty secluded space. I'm just shy and I don't like being the center of attention.
Yeah.
So it's just like having eyes on me. It's just like a little nerve-wracking.
Okay. What would you say, is there anything you think I can improve about the interview? I mean, you've seen some of my other interviews. What are some things you think I can improve?
I don't think anything in particular. I think you do a good job at changing up your questions quite often and adjusting them per individual that you're speaking with. Yeah. I know you do like a big part of like mental health and kind of like stigmas against fetishes and whatnot. So I think you do a really good job about covering all of those things, and I think you do make a good connection with the people that you're interviewing. So I don't think there's anything I can think of in particular. I know at first, like when we were first talking and I was watching like some of your earlier on videos, I definitely put in a lot of like question recommendations, because again, it's the same as like I was saying before, like it's a woman-centric interview. Correct. Meaning like you're only talking to women, so your questions need to be catered for women, even though your audience is primarily men, especially since it's just random people you meet in public too. So it's not like you're meeting up with specific foot models who do this for a living. I mean, there are some that you interview, but that's not generally the case. Yeah. So I think you do a really good job, and I think you've taken a lot of like constructive criticism and I've applied it. And I think your channel's like grown really well. I think your editing has gotten really well, and your knowledge of like different programs and whatnot has really grown over the time that you've had the channel.
Well, let's wrap it up with this. Something that you can say to everybody out there, something that can be like motivational to them.
Oh goodness.
And you and your mom, you guys had tons of like messages. So there's got to be something.
Yeah. I think the thing my mom said the most that definitely sits with me is oh gosh, sorry. I'm like having a brain fart, but I know exactly what it is. So you're gonna have to cut this part out.
It's okay, I can cut it.
Why can't I think of it, Linda?
Well, I know you guys had a lot of affirmations on
No,
that.
I literally have it. It's just like so stuck on the tip of my tongue. OMG, why can't I think of it? I think because you just put me on the spot.
Okay.
Hold on, you're gonna have to give me a second. Okay, I got it. Okay,
Right.
will you ask the question again?
Okay. Well, I don't have to. You can just answer it. So, but the question is like, what's something motivational you can give to people watching?
So my mom always would say everything's always working out for us, as like an affirmation, because I'm a worrywart. I'm definitely like a realist, and I always think about like the worst possible outcome. Just I don't mean to, but that's just how my brain works. And so she would always say everything's always working out for us, like no matter what comes our way, like we're gonna get through it at the end of the day. And life gets really hard, and today's economy and everything is not as simple as it used to be, but like knowing that the people around you and yourself, like you're gonna come through on the other side and take everything with a stride, is just brings like a nice like peace of mind when I'm not letting myself freak out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you coming out and doing this interview with us. I'm probably gonna get asked. You gonna come back?
I don't know.
You don't know? We'll leave it up in the air?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe. All right.
If
Well,
you
thank
ask
so
me.
much. Huh?
Maybe if you ask me.
Okay. Well, if I asked her. So if I do get asked.
And everybody has to be really nice in the comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see you on the next one then.
Bye.
Bye.